How's it going, everybody? As you guys can tell, I'm not in my usually darkly lit cave that I normally operate from. I'm going to do this more in the vein of Kayal Podcast Home, which I'm just going to do on Mondays. So, assuming I buy 1 or 2 comics a week, or I bring a comic with me, or something, it's going to be a couple comics a week. It's going to be Kayal Podcast Come Home on Monday, and it's going to be Box Office Bomb Squad on Fridays. So, it's back to the format of me in my car, just talking about movies. So, let's get this out of the way. Infinity War's success was exactly what I thought it was going to be. I don't know if it's going to have the Black Panther level of success in that it's going to stay consistently top 5 or top 3 for the next several months. I would be interested in seeing whether or not when Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out, whether Black Panther and Infinity War get a resurgence, so that it's going to be Ant-Man number 1, Infinity War number 2, Black Panther number 3. I highly doubt it, only because when all the other movies that come out, like Deadpool will come out, Star Wars is going to be coming out. Like Star Wars is funny because the initial reviews that I'm hearing are, and I'm not reading the reviews themselves, I'm like aggregating them and looking at whether or not people are saying they like it. And I'm hearing initial reports that Solo, a Star Wars movie, is going to be decent or good. The biggest gripes I've heard are from the hardcore fans and the YouTube community of, like, we hate that Disney bought Star Wars. And Disney said themselves they're not sure how successful Solo is going to be, because normally they put their Star Wars movie out at Christmas time, and they have a long lead up between when the trailer gets released and when the movie gets released. But I think the production side of things, they had issues with how the directors that they hired to make their movie handled their movie, because the guys were like real comedy types, and they were saying that they were just behind schedule all the time. They were saying that the guy that they cast as Han Solo needed an acting coach, which I think I'm a schlub off the street, so I really can't say for sure how many actors need coaches. I do know that, like, actors have coaches on a kind of regular basis, because when Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to take on a accent, he'll have it for about 3/4 of the movie. And so if you're having Leonardo DiCaprio do an accent, you really gotta be careful how much you use him in your movie. I mean, normally he's the star, but like, watch Blood Diamond, watch Wolf of Wall Street, watch The Departed. Like, just keep track of that accent that he has in each of those movies, and just see how long he has it. So, Solo, I expect to be able to beat the Avengers, because right now, like, Black Panther had the advantage of, like, what came out after Black Panther. I mean, Infinity War is going to have Deadpool 2. It's going to have Solo, which Deadpool 2, like, I'm curious, like, how that matchup's going to go up against Solo. In terms of, like, the real fight for, like, the crown, that's right now, because Disney, when it moved Infinity War up a week, it gave itself a 3-week window to really, really make money, because Melissa McCarthy is, like, doing a back-to-school comedy, and I mean, she's funny and she's nice and she's popular, but she's not that popular. I mean, she's gonna have the #2 movie, and she's gonna, like, I don't know, because, like, some of her big budget movies, I don't know how, like, they make money, but it's a good thing that I don't know what the budget was on that one, but supposing that it was the same as, like, something like Spy or whatever, or I shouldn't say all of her movies make money, but in terms of, like when she did Ghostbusters 3, which was really Bridesmaids as Ghostbusters, that movie was expected to be a lot bigger than what it was, and a lot of people got fired on that one. Or does it count as firing if they never, like Sony had something called, like, Ghost Corp going on, that they were gonna, like, have an entire office dedicated to Ghostbusters, and that movie did not make the money that they wanted it to, so it was a flop in their eyes. So, but I don't know if that was, like, a solely. Here's the problem with Melissa McCarthy, in my opinion. She's really good and really funny, but she needs, like, a good surrounding cast to play off of. That's where I personally enjoy seeing her work. That one movie where she played, like, a billionaire or whatever that took over a Girl Scout troop. I want to say it was, like, Filthy Rich or Boss or something, and just, I was, like, there wasn't enough for her to bounce off of that made me really enjoy the movie. And, like, Bridesmaids, and she wasn't like she was the obnoxious best friend in that one. Like, that was her role, and she stole the scenes just by being loud and obnoxious. And it wasn't really her movie, so to speak. Spy, like, she had Rose Byrne and Jude Law and others to, like, bounce off of, and to me that's when, like, what she does works really well, because that's comedy. Like, you need non-diminishing return, like, scenarios, meaning, like, you can't tell the same joke over and over again. And that's the problem with, like, all these remakes or whatever. Like, some remakes are going to be really good because they have, like, really interesting people doing stuff, but then you have Overboard, which is Anna Faris, who I don't think, like, she makes good movies and she's a great actress, but at the same time, I don't know, like, if her movies are, like, box office, and then you throw in the guy from How to Be a Latin Lover, and he's funny, but God, like, and the fact that, like, Overboard is such a it's a forgettable classic in terms of, all right, Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn. I mean, like the comedy is there, and like it works for me in that one, but it doesn't really. And plus, they did the gender reversal too, in that I don't know, when you have a man do things, like, call it patriarchy, call it whatever, like, just like certain things are more acceptable, because when it was Kurt Russell, down on his luck, father of 3 boys, three kids. I'm not even sure it was 3 boys. I know it was like a lot. It was boys for sure. There were boys there. I'm not remembering how many there were, but in terms of that, when Goldie Hawn is in the beginning spoiled and snobbish and dismissive, all around bitchy, and then Kurt Russell does a really dick move and all that. Like, people are like uncomfortable by it now, but back in the day it was more acceptable. And now, when you do the role reversal of, like, we're gonna make this billionaire work and all that shit, like, this woman is going to convince this man that she is married to him and all that stuff, and it's the same comedy, but we're kind of in a tight spot, and I haven't seen the movie, so I really can't comment on how successful it is, but in terms of like the comedy of taking someone and taking advantage of someone's amnesia, and at the same time getting a little bit of revenge for it. It's like we're a little too progressive for that overall, but like we've progressed as a society past that point, I think. I mean, we're all a bunch of animals, but at the same time, we'll give women less room to work with than we would guys, in that sense, like, still to this day. Because if they had just done a straight up remake, like, same story, same concepts, same everything, it's like basically what I'm trying to say is Overboard should never have been remade. The comedy of it is like too many issues. Like, if you do it as like a woman trapping a man, like they did, or kind of did, it doesn't work. If you do it as a man trapping a woman, you'll get protests. If you do it as, especially the people they cast, like, let's just say, like, if they had redone it with a man, like the guy from How to Be a Latin Lover, and who, I'm not saying that he's not good at what he does. Like, he's an actor, like, and understands comedy. Like, you can tell that by the trailer. But in turn, like, he wasn't a big box office success with his own movie. Like, you're gonna put him in a remake? And plus, like, there is a sentiment of eat the rich in America right now, and it's like, oh, those rich people, they don't pay their taxes, they don't do this, oh, those billionaires, oh, Occupy Wall Street, all that shit. If they had done it Overboard, but they just amped it up on a different level so that like Kim Kardashian ends up like type like billionaire heiress who has like a numbnuts fiance who wants her to stay dead. Like, 'cause that was the selling point, like for, because like when you're listening to comedy, you have like a little bit of a conscience. It's like, you know, when you laugh and you're like like it's like you get that response, but you're like like, and you're giggling afterwards. It's like, oh, I know that's wrong, but that was so funny. Like when they had the one dude who was the dad from Gilmore Girls be the cheating husband or fiance or whatever to Goldie Hawn, like that made Kurt Russell seem so much better. I mean, like he was the release valve that enabled you to like the movie. And with the new movie, I don't know if there is that. And because if they did have it as a remake, there's probably a equivalent, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. Haven't watched it yet. I don't even know what else came out this week, because I know Solo debuted, and that's going to be an interesting thing, because Deadpool 2 is going to have some staying power. Infinity War is going to have some staying power. I do not think it's going to have the same staying power as what Black Panther had, because what Black Panther had was special. Black Panther overachieved in terms of what they were projecting it to be, and Black Panther either topped or took a bite out of every movie for, I want to say, 2 months going forward. And then you had other movies that took a bite out of other movies, like A Quiet Place is still one of the top viewed movies in the country. Not on the scale of Black Panther, but still, it was doing pretty good for a while. Infinity War, I think it's going to be the #1 movie up until Deadpool 2. And then when Deadpool 2 comes out, I want to say the next big movie is Solo. And that, like, is the Star Wars crowd coming out for Solo. Because everyone I've talked to that's a Star Wars fan or seen online is not like very supportive or very happy with what they've seen so far or what they're expecting. But we're talking about fans here. Fans are like gonna boycott things. They're not gonna buy things. It's like, nope, they're the first ones in line. So remember that Malibu Stacy episode of The Simpsons? It's like, oh, she has a new hat. Like, as soon as that happens, as soon as that new hat hits, they get right in line. So my predictions for this weekend, Infinity Wars is going to be #1. I'm just going with that. We're going to find out if I was right or wrong on Monday. So, all right, guys. Peace.